Lovedahlia Booysen is from Kimberley. You are a matriculant at the top of your class in school, one of the top students in the Northwest. But just a couple of years ago, you became a teenage mom.
Yes.
Let's start at the beginning. Tell us what was life like in your house growing up, and was that similar to how life was for other families and other girls like you in your community?
Exactly. I'm the eldest of three children. My sister is currently also in grade 12 and my brother is in grade 5. Now, we were raised by my mother and my grandmother. So there were no father figures in our lives. So we were all raised by females.
Your mom is in the audience.
My mom
today.
is in the audience sitting up front. And and they also never got the opportunity to finish high school. So a lot of it's the same story in our community. It's the same story with a lot of girls in our community. Their parents didn't finish high school, and so they just don't see the importance of finishing high school.
Why do you think it's like this?
They don't have role models in the community, good enough role models in the community. They feel like they are outcasts and they're advantaged in, what I say is they like to be petty. They feel pity for themselves. But I decided that that's not going to happen. Just because I live in a disadvantaged community doesn't mean I have to go sulk and accept the situation that I am in. That's why I decided to make a difference. Yes.
Okay. So you left school at the age of 16, 6 years ago, and then you decided to go back to school, and you went to an FET college at the age of 17. And what happened there?
Yes. At the age of 16, I left school. In the following year, I enrolled into an FET college. But what happened there was I got exposed to a lot of boys. And because I never had a father figure in my life, I think I enjoyed the attention that I got from the boys. But that was a very big mistake because in the same year I fell pregnant at a teenage of 17. So I don't think that was a very good idea.
But you persevered because the very next year you decided that you were going to go back to school.
Yes.
At 18, 19. And 19 years old, and you went back to school into grade 9. What was that like?
What happened was, my mother was living in Pretoria, and we live in Kimberley in the Northern Cape. And when my mom left, I was stuck with a baby, my 2 siblings to look after, and my grandmother. So I couldn't go back to school. And one day she told me, like, you know what, why don't you just want to go back to an FET college? And I told her, like, you don't have the money for it. So what I'm going to do is, I decided on my own, with no pressure from anybody, that I was going to go back to school. So I walked like 12.5 kilometers to the Department of Education's offices and back, like 24 km, just to go and beg them to give me another chance at learning.
Wow.
That was back in 2012, and I was 19, turning 20 in the same year.
And then you find yourself in class with like 14, 15-year-olds.
Yeah,
what was that like? And you're a mother.
I got really big negative feedback from my community because no dropout in my community, high school dropout, has ever gone back to school. I think I'm like the first one who's ever went back to school in my community. So,
wow.
Yes. So, being 19, I was going to turn 20 the same year, and being with younger kids, they were like 14, 15 years old, I felt embarrassed. At first, I felt embarrassed, but then I realized I saw myself in them. They're just as insecure as I was back then, and they also following the path that I followed, and then luckily I was there to just tell them, you know what, look what happened to me. I'm not embarrassed to be sitting with you. I was embarrassed at first, and as the year progresses, I was not embarrassed anymore. And I decided to use this opportunity to motivate these teens, because you were there once, and tell them how important it is to finish school. That's what I did.
And one of the things that helped to boost your confidence, was the Transnet Teenage Help Program in 2012. Can you tell us about that? And can you tell us about the Empowerment Cup?
Yes. Okay. I got introduced to the program back in 2012 when I went back to school. and it was introduced to me by a female called Mimi. And they introduced the menstrual cup, the M menstrual cup to us.
Have you heard about this? Do you know about this?
Yeah.
Okay, for those who don't know, give Mr. Google a chance this evening. This is worth Googling. There's a small plastic, but obviously biologically friendly.
It's made out of silicone.
It's made out of silicone, yes. That you can use when you are menstruating. It's reusable. It comes in 2 different sizes. So, you know, if your flow is heavier, you use one, you use the bigger one. If it's lighter, you use the smaller one. But it cancels out the distribution of this would change a lot of the problems that we're dealing with in our society. 25% of our girls don't go to school for a quarter of the month because they're menstruating. Those are the ones who are already in school, never mind the ones who are not there anyway. Ne? Can you imagine now you're 15 years old and you're at a school in the bush somewhere where there's barely even a toilet, and now you're on your period and you must go to school? Yeah. So how did this program help you?
It helped a lot in a way that because we were 2 girls at school, my mom spent a lot. She didn't have a lot of money anyway, so the expenses of sanitary pads just left a dent in the budget. So this helped us a lot in the sense that we could use it every single time and we didn't have to spend money on sanitary pads. And it's got a 4-year guarantee. Yeah, it's like you can use it for 4 years ongoing.
And it also did something for your confidence. Can you talk to us about that?
Yes, it gave my confidence a big boost. It really did, because at times you don't have the money. Being from a disadvantaged community, you don't always have roll on. You don't always have. You smell nice, especially when you menstruate and stuff like that. You didn't used to smell nice and stuff like that. But this really boosted my confidence. I felt good afterwards. But what saddened me, because I already had a purpose for going back to school, so this was just a bonus for me. What saddened me was to see the other girls, they was younger than me, being so backtracking, feeling embarrassed about this empowerment cup and about toiletries they're getting because of the comments that the boys would make at school. Oh, go get your toiletries and stuff like that. And it really saddened me because it was helping them. And there are even learners that were less fortunate than me that were felt embarrassed about it. And so being confident enough to stand in front of everybody, I helped boost their confidence. And I just said, that guy who is telling you that, who says their sister doesn't even have this, and that guy, who is it to you? Is it your husband? Is he going to marry you? Who is he to you? He's nothing to you. It's because he doesn't have ambition in his life. Now he just want to put you down. So don't listen to that guy.
Lovedahlia just found out today that she got a bursary. She's got a full bursary to study next year from Transnet. But you said yes. But you said that you would only accept the bursary on one condition.
Yes.
And what's that condition?
When I heard I got the bursary, I was ecstatic because I was considering, I had one little concern. I wanted to work in my community. I wanted to give back in my community, and I've loved those girls' spirit. So if you're going to give me a bursary and go make me study education, I'm going to be a teacher because there's no use. I don't want the bursary. So I'm only going to take the bursary if you're going to let me give back to my community and work in my community.
Fantastic. Just as a last question, before I invite the audience to ask you some questions, what can Transnet do to make this program better in schools and to reach more women like you?
Wow. It starts with respect. And once in itself and feeling confident in everything. Now what's happening is a lot of girls doesn't have that. thing. And what Frances has done is came along and boosted a few girls with this, and now they've got this. If they can expand this program and do it to a lot of other girls, give it to expand it to a lot of other schools, and it would really help a lot. And to boost the guys' self-confidence, I think the guys also deserve something because they're just, how do you call it? In Afrikaans they say ledig. They have nothing to do, and so if they can just go sing guys, to create a program just not for the teenage girls, but create a program for the guys, also for the boys, also, so that they can have motivation in life and they can say, okay, after I'm done, okay, this is the reason why it's important for me to finish matric. This is important. The reason why it's important for me not to mess up other girls' future. And I want to go forward in life. I also want to get married one day without having a few loose kids that dragging during school and like this is my wife and this is what I'm saying. There should be a program created for the guys also so that they can also gain respect for themselves and for the ladies.
I think you are amazing. All of us think that you are absolutely brilliant.